Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips podcast with your geeky host, Lindsay Wheeler, where we talk about everything from death, preparing for your future through estate planning, life, the occasional breakup, entrepreneurship, general nerdery, and of course travel, snowboard, and always wine. Welcome to Legacy Sips and Tips with your host, Lindsay, and today is our Christmas episode. Yay, Christmas! Maybe Christmas is not a fun holiday for you. Maybe it's super stressful. Maybe it sucks. Maybe you have people who have passed away that are not longer with you, and so Christmas is very difficult, or you have difficult familial relations. That's totally fine too. Most people really like Christmas and enjoy Christmas, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a consumer-driven present thing, although we really feel like that it is. It could just be that you've spent time with somebody, or you made a homemade thing for them, which is always super cool. Like, if people would like to bring me crafty items, I am 100% for that, because that is super cool. Someone's taken their time and energy and effort and love to make you something from them, which is always super cool versus something that's store-bought. So when people maybe come to the Christmas party at work and have made some crafts or whatever, understand that that's pretty cool. That's pretty special. So that's that. So how do I feel about Christmas and my experiences with Christmas? Well, to me, Christmas wasn't usually a fun holiday for me. My parents worked, like I said, at the casinos, so they were usually either having to go to work or working, because it's usually triple time on those holiday days. So most people like to work those holidays in those fields because you get paid really well. So I used to wake up to Christmas morning by myself. My parents weren't there. It wasn't like this grand thing like you see in the movies, and you come down and it's Christmas and everything's there, and mom and dad are in the pajamas drinking their coffee. No, I didn't have any of that. None of that happened. None of that Hallmark garbage ever happened in my life. Also, my dad was thrifty, and so we ended up not ever getting our Christmas tree till usually Christmas Eve, because that's when they were on sale. So we would do that, put it up, put some random ornaments up. Of course, I'd go to Barbara's house. She was always very well put together. She had one of the first artificial Christmas trees back in the late 80s, which was super fancy. That she'd have that she'd put up every year. It was really nice. And she would take us to go get ornaments at Macy's or whatever, because they usually have kind of more special, nicer ornaments. So I have still some of those from this day, from when I was a kid, and she would take us down there to get kind of unique things for the year. So that was always fun, nice tradition I had with her. But again, for my own house, I'd wake up and it was just kind of like, and then my parents would get up. Also, they're not morning people. Not that I was really one either, but when they get up, they have to go to work. They're getting ready. They're like, oh, here's your presents. They'd put stuff out. They would make an effort, but not an over effort like I think people do these days. I think it was less of an effort back in the day. Maybe it was in just my household. I don't know about you. Of course, I'd always go to my friend's house, Lori's house. That's still a tradition to this day, I don't even know, 40 years later, basically, still go to her house and have Christmas over there, which is always nice. So I usually start here at my house and then go to her house. Back in the day, I'd lived next door, so I just literally just roll next door. Let me tell you about the best Christmas of all Christmases of all time ever in my life. Maybe for you, as you got engaged. Maybe it's like you knew that you were going to have a baby and you announced it to your family. No. Know when my best Christmas was? It was December 25th, 1986. Because know what? Know what happened on that day? Nintendo released, and I got a Nintendo. And it was the greatest day of all greatest days in my entire life. I got a Nintendo, and I remember being so excited, freaking out, ripping that wrapping, and I saw it, and I was just like, I got a Nintendo! My parents came through. They came through. They would also come through with a lot of cool She-Ra stuff. That was legit. And my uncle also would send really cool stuff. He's a electrical engineer from back east. He'd always get like the cool things, like the Walkman, like the super cool Walkman that was like waterproof. You could and it would put the cassettes in there. So he was always at the cool things. He got me rollerblades one year. That was super legit. Nobody else had rollerblades. They only had roller skates. So I was cool. But no, December 25th, 1986, greatest Christmas ever to still this point, still to this day, greatest Christmas ever. I got the Nintendo. And not only did I not get the regular Nintendo, I got the ultimate Nintendo with the power pad. And it had the little Olympic game that you would run on the power pad. And it was the greatest freaking thing ever. Ever. I'm still excited about it, as you can tell. Best day ever. Best freaking day ever. And then my friend Lori got one too. A lot of the neighborhood kids, we all got them, or we got, I would see what my friends would get, like my friends Christy and Lori, who I've known since I was 3, they would get things and I would want that same thing. So we got matching scooters, you could ride little scooters, I don't know, they're like razors these days, but they were bigger. So we all had matching ones of those for the neighborhood. That was a cool one. Or they would get like super Barbie things or She-Ra dolls. I had all the She-Ra dolls. Like that was legit. They had all the Barbie stuff. So my parents were like, well, we don't have to buy anything Barbie because they have literally the entire Mattel store at their house. So that was great. They also had the Ewok Village, which was super legit too. But yeah, Christmas, 1986, Nintendo, Power Pad, Nintendo, in fact. So I had the Duck Hunt, which was amazing. I had the Power Pad, so we could do the Olympics. We do the running and we do the hurdles and you have to jump. And it was like the first kind of iteration of the Wii, like the Wii Sports games that we play, you know. So they had the Power Pad for that. And then the regular, of course, Super Mario Brothers. And let me tell you that I did not leave my house for many, many days. My parents were like, you need to go outside. You need to play. You need to go with your friends. Nope. No, we didn't. We sat in front of that damn TV with that Nintendo for probably 18 hours a day playing Super Mario Brothers. Legit. In fact, one time my friend and I got grounded outside because they came and they touched the TV and they were like, oh my God, this thing is on fire. How long have you guys been sitting here for? And we're like, 17 hours playing this. And they're like, you're grounded outside. You cannot come into the house. Like we got grounded outside. We cannot come in the house to play Nintendo. We had to go actually be kids and run around the neighborhood. So greatest Christmas experience ever. Tell me your great Christmas experiences. Was it December 25th, 1986, like it was mine? Because I bet a lot of you Gen X's out there were like, this was the greatest day ever, and still to this day, not having your first kid, not getting married. No, 1986, December 25th was probably still your greatest day. Just going to put that out there. But yeah, tell me your guys' fun stories about Christmas or holiday traditions you have. Do you have unique holiday traditions? Are they the Hallmark traditions? What are they? You know what I mean? Let me know on that, because I definitely did not have a traditional Christmas experience. And then I think today as an adult, I like to bring that more into my life as an adult. I like to have that Christmas morning. You get up, you get your tea, your coffee, maybe you make a little cool breakfast or whatever. You have your Christmas, you open the fun gifts, you take the videos, what have you, and say what people got or whatever. And then, you know, then you go to your friend's house like I do. So do you cook a big Christmas dinner? That's a big thing too with people. Some people cook like a full like Christmas roast. Or what other holiday foods do you have? What other cultural traditions do you have? You have, you know, I know in Europe, they have the Christmas markets. We're super legit. We sadly in this country miss out on that. The European Christmas markets are just by far the neatest, funnest things to go to. They're so cool and so like whimsical and magical and neat. So what other cultural kind of traditions do you have for Christmas morning and that kind of stuff? So let me know on that. So this week's wine talk is Kirkland. Last time for Thanksgiving episode, we did Trader Joe's, and today I was talking about Costco. Costco brand, also like Trader Joe's, do not source garbage. They are very picky about what they source. And I know you think, oh, it's a Kirkland brand or whatever. This is actually a Napa cab as well from the Suscol Vineyard. It's 2021. I think this was like $30, maybe $25 or whatever. So they buy in bulk. Obviously it's Costco. So they get really good smoking deals on really quality stuff. So don't think that you can't bring this to a dinner party, because if you brought me this to a dinner party, I would be super happy with it because I know what it is. You know, same thing with like some of the lower end or lower price point, you know, wines. There's nothing bad about them. It's just sometimes they're mass produced. Sometimes they get them in bulk. Sometimes they get them off the market. You know, who knows what they're made from? You don't have to have, you know, single grown estate vineyard wines to enjoy wine. You know, if you like it, you like it. It could be $5, it could be $3, but if you like it, you like it, right? So this is always a nice wine to get. This is why I got it, because it's a good holiday wine, especially for people who don't maybe drink wine all the time or know wine all the time or super snobby about wine. This is a nice like medium range that we all know it's going to be good for the people who do like wine. For the people who don't know wine, they'll still enjoy it. So it's a nice thing to bring for dinner parties or holiday gifts or holiday dinners that you're going to as well. So this is a nice one. It's a 2021 Napa Cab, Suscol Vineyard, single vineyard that Napa bought. So this is still a Napa Cab. Can't go wrong with this. So that's the wine talk for this week. Again, if Costco or Kirkland would like to sponsor me, that would be epic, because I can never get out of that store for like under $500. I swear to God, every time I go in there, it's traumatizing. And they also have really nice wine and champagne, you know, selections. So let me know on your favorite holiday tradition wines, or do you guys have a holiday tradition wine that you guys bring? Maybe like every year you bring this or something like that. So let me know about those kind of fun things that you guys do. So again, during the holiday time, people are gathering, people are coming together, your family are there. You're usually in a more, it could be a chaotic environment, I don't know, but it might be more relaxed after the holiday time is done. You're like, whew, all that's done. We've had the best holiday of the year, Halloween, of course. Then we have Thanksgiving, and then we now are in Christmas. The shopping's all done. You're waiting. You're getting, prepared for the new year. And you guys are all hanging out, and you are maybe getting prepared for the new year. So what's a nice thing to talk about during the holiday time? The best thing to talk about during the holiday time is death. Just kidding. It isn't, though. It is. It is a nice time to have everybody together. And again, like, you can talk at the dinner table and say, hey, I read this crazy article about somebody who was composted when they passed away. Isn't that weird? Would you want to be composted? Bizarre, right? Or, hey, I saw this crazy Black Friday special where they 60% off caskets. That's weird. Do you want to be buried in a casket, or do you want to be cremated? You can kind of broach the subject that's difficult for people to talk about. You can be as light as you want it with it. You can be dark, you can be heavy, you can be, whatever you need to do to kind of get the subject going. You can talk about the gray wave that's coming. That's with our boomers. And so most of us have probably boomer parents, and you could say, hey, I read this article about, man, there's not going to be enough practitioners and court system able to handle these probates for people who have not prepared, who maybe just think that they have a will and a will is sufficient, and now they're going to have to go through probate. So there's going to be a lot of assets and a lot of wealth that's going to be tied up through these probate process when these gray wave starts happening that people aren't going to be able to handle. So that might be a lot of money that goes by the wayside. Right now, it's a $2 billion industry a year, billion with a B, two, and 90% of that usually goes to attorneys. So that's a lot of money. They're estimating it's going to double, triple even, which is kind of insane when you think about it. So this is a good time to talk with your loved ones and say, hey, we want to keep our wealth where it is. We want to keep it in the family. Have you guys got anything in place? That's always a good kind of conversation to have, or just say I've read this article, or my friend had this thing happen to him. It was so crazy. They had to go through the probate process, and man, it was 18 months of hell for their family. What do you guys have? You don't want us to go through that, right? So different ways that you guys can talk about this with your loved ones and your family members to make sure that they're set up and that you aren't going to have to go through that. And even for yourself, making sure that you get that set up for you, your family. Bad things happen, unfortunately, and of course it is the one guarantee we have in life, so why not prepare for it? So if you have questions on that, want to know how to get that set up, or want to have some prompts for your family to kind of ease into this discussion during holiday time, let me know. I'm more than happy to supply those for you. And of course, when you think of death, think of me.
Perfect.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you found value, please like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to follow me on all the socials at Sips and Tips with Lindsay. And of course, you can always go to my website, sipsandtipswithlindsay.com, to find more information about estate planning, business, snowboard, travel, and of course, wine. As always, we have to get the legal stuff out of the way. I went to law school, so you don't have to. However, we have to read the special disclaimer that I am not a practicing attorney. I am not your attorney. I am not offering any legal advice in any content or any episode. All content is for your information and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for seeking your own legal advice from your own attorney or other professionals such as a CPA or financial advisor. I cannot give legal advice and do not offer any legal services or legal advice, but I do offer some fun and educational content for you to enjoy.